Hello, YouTube friends, internet friends. I'm just composing a quick message again. I have contacted this person called Bob McDonald on CBC, Quirks and Quarks, the science show. And as you see here, I'm writing him a message. I'd like you to do the same. Write to CBC, Google CBC, Quirks and Quarks. And I'm saying, when will you do a science report on Fukushima? I contacted you. Actually, I contacted this guy about 5 or 6 times requesting something catastrophe. Is that spelled right? Yeah. To do something. It's a science. It's a science issue. It's an incredible science issue. Nuclear fission going on uncontrolled in a place called Fukushima, and I've not as yet, not as yet received a response or program dedicated to this epic event. When will you do a science report on Fukushima? I contacted you in June 2011 on this catastrophe and have not as yet received a response or a program on your Quirks and Quarks. We're talking major Quirks and Quarks dedicated to this epic event. Please respond. Respond with an we are not interested, or it is of interest to me. Sincerely, T.A. Well, I should write my name probably. When will you do a science report on Fukushima? I contact on Quirks and Quarks to this. Please respond with an "we are not interested" or "it is of interest to me." Sincerely, comma. Maybe I should put my whole name. People, we got to do this. Write whoever you think might be valuable in this. And anyway, I thought I'd put this up to show that this is the guy. He is a guy for the man. He is a man reporter. Like I said, in 2011, I asked that he would consider doing a program on this event. I also mentioned chemtrails geoengineering. Never heard from this person on chemtrails geoengineering. I should probably have. I'm going to write him another note, and I'm going to say I'm going to put this up on my YouTube channel to show what a total science hack he is. Anyway, I've sent it, and please do the same. I just wrote to Bob McDonald again. I'm going to attach the video. I captured the screen capture of me writing to this person called Bob McDonald, a CBC Quirks and Quarks science man. And in this little snippet here, you can see that he has reported on Fukushima. I contacted him in June 2011 to ask him to do something on Fukushima, and here, February 2014, he put out a post which basically says, oh yeah, there's a plume of radioactivity coming, but it's no big deal because acidification of the ocean from carbon dioxide pollution is really the issue. And of course, then you understand that this is the voice for the man, the CO2 hoax that is being perpetrated. And the idea that CO2 is going to sink our ship is one of the biggest lies, besides the denial of Fukushima, which he's doing. And if you can read this, you can go through this and read how he says that, yes, okay, 400 tons of radioactive water every day in the ocean is a spit in the ocean. This is what he is promoting. This is what he's saying. And he did put out this little comment on Fukushima. It pales. Fukushima pales. Now, what will happen when this finally comes out to a person like this? And Dana is in court because he says what will happen to a person like this is not going to be pretty, because these people are denying what is going on in the Pacific. These people are complicit in the destruction of an ocean, and he'd like to call it CO2 because CO2 is a lot more manageable in terms of money. You can charge people money for CO2. We're dirty bastards that should pay for CO2 emissions. You know, we breathe out CO2. We're dirty creatures because we do CO2, and plants absorb CO2 as part of their life cycle. So this whole thing, acidification because of CO2, is crap, garbage, bullshit, what this guy is promoting. And if I'll go down here, if you haven't read this, he's saying that it costs $600 US to have a kit to test the water. Why should I pay $600 to test the water when our government is responsible for making sure that our ecosystem is surviving and preserving life? Why would he bring up the kits are not cheap at $600 right here, and we should pay for these kits to do water testing? And the oceanographer, the Woods Hole people are, he's advocating Woods Hole again. Dana Durnford, Victoria, BC, U of Vic is promoting all this, what he says pales compared to acidification. Of course, there's going to be ocean acidification for many different reasons. I think the chemical destruction of the ocean is really behind this, and radiation is on the top of the list. So he did put out a little flyer saying, people, forget about Fukushima, it's acidification. That's what he said. Wow. So here you go, people. After I wrote to Bob McDonald at CBC, Quirks and Quarks, the science man, the man who is interviewing scientists of importance on the nature of the universe, what it means to be alive as a human being, and what it means, obviously, to be dying as a human being as well, because the Pacific Ocean is being destroyed by Fukushima. So the response was that, sorry, nothing planned at this time. Thanks for writing. Fuck off. Yeah, that's how it works. So this is, I'm going to put this up, and I think I'm going to go to video now and just do a bit on the what I'm going to call the winning team syndrome. We are in the fight for our lives. Make no mistake about this. We are in the fight for our lives. And this is the video portion of the, I screen captured the message I sent to Bob McDonald, who is the science guy on our national radio, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, in Canada. He has a program called Quirks and Quarks, and he refuses to do a program on Fukushima. And as a science guy, one would think that an event that is unfolding every day, every second of every day, releasing enormous amounts of radiation into the environment, on the Earth environment, the fission process, nuclear fission, uncontrolled fission going on in a plant on this planet that has another 450 some plants, planning more, let's build more. I sent a message to this person saying there is an event that occurred at 3/11/11, and you have not done a program. He put out a little blog written thing that it pales. CO2 is our problem, not Fukushima, not nuclear fission going on, uncontrolled fission. What else is uncontrolled? Cancer. Cancer is uncontrolled cell growth. Now, how does that combine? Now, think about the origin when people deal with cancer. They're always talking about how to figure out a way to get rid of it, but never where it comes from. And what is cancer in essence? People, what is cancer? Cancer is uncontrolled cell growth in our bodies. That's what it is. Uncontrolled cell growth. What else is uncontrolled? Nuclear fission at Fukushima. I wonder why we have an illness that is called cancer, which is uncontrolled cell growth, and a nuclear plant gone amok, gone fucky muck, gone off the reservation, a nuclear plant gone off the reservation like Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island, and now the jewel in the crown of off the reservation, Fukushima. Uncontrolled cell growth, uncontrolled splitting of the atom called nuclear fission, which is going on in Fukushima. And Bob McDonald, the science guy on CBC, doesn't care, isn't interested, go away, I don't want to deal with you. This is not a topic of interest. The destruction of the Pacific Ocean, the way Dana Durnford has talked about this and has actually documented the destruction of the ocean. I'm going to put the link to Dana Durnford's videos. And what I want to talk about, I'm really interested, when you think about cancer, what I'm interested in is the origin of something. The origin of something. And this is my comment on the origin of cancer. And the origin of cancer is a level of toxicity in our body we cannot metabolize any longer in a normal way, the way you eat and you eliminate and you do all that kind of stuff. But something remains, which is called toxicity. Our bowels are supposed to eliminate stuff, but when it gets into the deep tissue of our bodies, we're unable to eliminate. And as Dana has explained, it creates a sarcophagus. When you have this cancerous cell, this plutonium in our body trying to expand itself into the genome of our essence, and the body says, no, I don't want you. It creates a sarcophagus, and this becomes uncontrolled cell growth in itself. Our body destroys itself. It's called AIDS. Oh, AIDS. What is AIDS? AIDS. Oh, AIDS. AIDS is an immune deficiency. Autonomic immune deficiency syndrome. I think that's what it is. AIDS. That's what's the name. It's not a virus. It's not a virus. It is the fact our body is totally overwhelmed by the toxicity, and it reveals itself in so many different ways, in so many different diseases, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of diseases we like to call viruses. No, it's toxicity. And the nuclear industry, this criminal syndicate, has unleashed the ultimate toxicity, and a science guy like Bob McDonald couldn't give a shit. And now the reason he doesn't care, Bob McDonald doesn't care about the health of the planet. The science guy doesn't care. He doesn't want to do a Fukushima program. Like you see, I have documented this. You have to write to this guy. Why aren't you doing Fukushima programs? Uncontrolled nuclear fission going on in a plant, in a toxic boil on this planet, polluting everything in the Pacific. Why haven't you done a program? Write him, please, write him. I will put a link on the bottom. Write him. And why don't people write Bob McDonald? Now, Bob McDonald thinks on his $80,000 salary for CBC, whatever he gets, he's on the winning team. And the winning team is a wishful thinking team, not a hardcore person that is in the trenches doing something. This service type. We separate, I separate myself in terms of humanity from people that are actually physically doing what they say they are. I make paintings. I'm a painter. I make paintings. I don't talk about making paintings. I actually make paintings. There you see. There are paintings in the background. So people that actually continuously infiltrate our brain cells with fluff and meaningless information, that are unwilling to get into the trenches and tackle this problem. We have to tackle this problem. This is huge, people. This is huge. And there is no one left on the winning team. There is no one on the winning team. There is no winning team in this scenario. What I would call the nostalgia for the future is what people feel like, oh, it was really great for the last 50 years or 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Wow, wasn't it wonderful? Well, you know, we improved on wonderful by creating this technology and that technology. And I'm not a Luddite, but I know when I'm being hoodwinked. And technology is a hoodwink. And if you go into my videos, I talk about this in terms of art. We've been hoodwinked. And what we need to do is we have to make a stand. So write to the CBC hack science guy, Bob McDonald, and tell him why, or ask him why he hasn't done a Fukushima program. He has not done a Fukushima program because he hasn't done a program because he says it pales CO2, which is actually being able to be metered. They can meter CO2 and charge us for it because you breathe CO2. We're all toxic creatures on this planet, expelling CO2 through our breath, and we need to actually physically do what we think. We need to actually represent ourselves physically in the way we think, we understand. We can't just say we think this, we have to do it. So one of the ways is to write this guy on CBC, Bob McDonald, and say, why haven't you done a Fukushima program? He refuses. I contacted him in June 2011. I said, you need to do a program on Fukushima to get onto this. No, we're not interested. You saw it.